All right. Hello, sixth graders. Here we go. All right. So let me refresh you on what we did in the previous lesson, which was to work diligently to improve at a goal. And we thought of a lot of different places we could get those goals from: the checklist, the rubric, mentor text, feedback from your partners, all kinds of ideas there. So hopefully you feel good about something that you really worked on to improve and you jotted those changes, like your tries, into your notebook. All right, so today the point of our lesson is that I'm going to teach you that revising means rewriting, that it means, and this is important, to re-envision, not just to cross out and change a line or a word here and there, but to re-envision your story. And you're like, oh, Mrs. Brown, how am I going to re-envision this story? All right, I was already there and I know what happened. Well, look, we're going to use a mentor text to get this idea across. So we're going to use the story, The Unexpected Brother, where Gracie feels cheated because her kind of like unexpected brother, not a real brother, gets a lot of the attention of Gracie's father. So notice we have like two mountains here. And the first thing that I want to say is this does kind of go along with story mountains, what we're used to, where you start out with the exposition, where you're made aware of who is in the story, where it's happening. You maybe get set up on the conflict or a problem. We get the rising action. We understand what the big problem is, the climax, the most exciting part, falling action, and resolution, how the story ends. All right, so this follows that, and that's what you want to think about. And let's read the external part first. So the external is almost like retelling the story, summarizing the main points. And we want the high point to be up here at the mountaintop. So the basketball game is going well until Tidy from the other team makes the winning shot. Dad cheers more loudly for Tidy's team than for mine. Dad doesn't even notice me and walks straight past me to Tidy. I try to talk to my dad and get him to notice me, but he just continues to talk about Tidy. And then I think there was a little reversal here. I think Gracie decided maybe this should be here, but because she talks about her feelings. All right, so I just won't even mention that. All right, this is kind of a mistake on Gracie's part. It's not an external. So external things summarize the story. It doesn't really include any emotions that are happening on the inside that people wouldn't know about. This is external. This is what people can see and hear and understand is happening, other people. But internal, and thus we have an inside mountain underneath the one that's on the outside. This is like what people don't always know is happening. These are feelings and emotions and things that people don't know about. I go from really happy and confident because we are in the lead to disappointed because we lost by 1 point. And notice this is how she feels on the inside when this external event happens. So she tied that in. All right, so when the other team, Tidy's team, scored that point, she really felt disappointed. All right, Dad cheers more loudly for Tidy's team than mine. That's what's happening externally. But at the same time, on the inside, Grace starts to feel kind of upset about her dad cheering for Tidy. But she says, I try to brush it off. All right, and then when Dad doesn't even notice her on the inside, she says, I become filled with anger because my dad doesn't even notice me. She's filled with anger. All right, and then we start the falling action. I start to feel really sad because my dad continues to ignore me. And the reason she feels that way is when she tries to talk to him, he doesn't even notice her. All right, and then she says, I get really sad after my dad continues to ignore me and I go cry in the bathroom. All right, she could have left I go cry in the bathroom. People may have seen that. But the part about her getting really sad should have been on the internal. I become even more sad and cry because I feel like my dad has forgotten about me. I realize that I won't always be under my dad's spotlight. All right, so hopefully you're getting a taste of internal, external. Now, I'm going to take an event from my life. And basically what I did is I took a piece of paper, put it in the landscape position, drew simply 2 mountains, one underneath the other. External is going to go here. Internal is here. And I tried to have at least 5 events. All right, because Gracie did 5. Now, I think I ended up with 6, but I tried for 5. And mine gets a little complicated, but I think when I take you through it, it's going to make sense. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and read the external as well as the internal relation as I go, so I don't have to go back because I think it's a little more understandable. Now, what I want to kind of give you a view of is that well, first of all, I went to elementary school in Columbus, and there was like a woods back behind the school. And we didn't live too far from the school. And once in a while, my dad would take me on the mini bike, which is like a little scooter, down behind the school. And it was so much fun. And so this is all about him doing that one time. All right, so here we go. External event. Dad wanted to take the mini bike out. On the inside, I was curious as to whether he'd ask me. Sometimes Mom would want me to stay and help her, because normally Mom was fixing dinner. On the outside, he asked if I wanted to ride with him. On the inside, I got very excited. I didn't get a lot of alone time with my dad, so it was special. Dad just worked a lot, and so it was just really fun if I got to do something alone with my dad. He told me to hold on tight, and we started toward the woods behind my elementary school. On the inside, I was a little nervous, like happy, butterflies in my stomach. I wondered if I'd see any of my friends, because of course that made me feel important. Dad went up and down hills and beside the creek. It was scary, tense, and exciting all at the same time. After a long time, we drove back home. I wanted to get home to tell Mom all that we'd done. I felt like Dad was proud of me for not being wimpy. Mom had dinner ready, and we talked about all of the fun. It made me feel happy, like an important part of the family, because I got to participate in an adult experience, right? Something that kids don't always get to do. Now, if I had written this without any teacher help at all, this is what my story would be. It would just be a retelling of anything that you guys could probably already know that happened. Dad wanted to take me on the mini bike. He wanted to take out the mini bike. He asked if I wanted to ride with him. He told me to hold on tight, and we started toward the woods. All right, and so on. But as soon as I do this external, internal mountain relationship thing, I can put so much more into my story. This is what you're going to work on next. I want you to make 2 mountains, an internal, external, and I want you to line up at least 5 events. Make sure this is the high point, the climax. Okay, get your focus here. All right, and then I want you to match how you were feeling or some emotion, but internally, what were you thinking or feeling? All right, to match up with that event. And then tomorrow, we're going to talk about taking that and putting it in your writing, because that's the assignment for tomorrow. There's not really a new mini lesson, but what you're going to do is tomorrow, you're going to actually weave this internal part into your stories and rewrite your stories. You're going to re-envision your story and rewrite it. You can incorporate that good goal stuff that you did yesterday. You're going to incorporate the internal as well as the external, and I bet your story doubles in size. All right, so that is what we are up to. Make sure that you have this done for tomorrow so that you're ready to rewrite. All right, that's all. signing off.